This is my channel, Whiskey and Wool, and this is my Knitter's Life series, season 2, episode 5. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It has been a little while. It has been, a little longer than normal. Sure hope I remember how to do this. Yeah, I have a lot to show you and catch up with you on. And yeah, I'm gonna start. Did I say my name is Shannon? My name is Shannon, and I'm coming to you from the United States, northern New Jersey, which is I live just outside of New York City, if you don't know your geography of our region very well. I'm drinking some Tulsa Sweet Rose tea, so good, in my knitting chicken mug that I got from Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. I'll put the pottery information down. I did find them. I think in the past I said I didn't remember who they were, but I did find them recently because I got worried this mug might break, and then what would I do? So I'll put their information down below if you want to try to find them at Maryland Sheep and Wool this year. So good. I just need hydration today. It is Saturday, March 19th, and yeah, it has been overcast all day. It was very foggy this morning. You might have seen some foggy footage already, or I maybe will put it in at the end. I don't know because I haven't edited yet. Anyway, yeah, the weather's been a little weird, it's very snowy, alternating with warm, mild, I would say more than warm, mild temperatures and some rain. So I think the snow might be behind us at this point, but we'll see. It snowed last weekend. I don't mind it though. I really don't mind the snow if I don't have to drive or travel anywhere. But okay, cool. I'm going to, before I blather more, I'm going to hand you to the future and let you watch a gin chat. I picked up a new gin this week, and yeah, I can't wait to share it with you. So I'll be sipping on that later tonight and filming and talking about it, and that clip will go in here. I will tell you where to skip to if you're not interested in hearing me talk about how, where, what the gin is that I'm drinking, and yeah, it's about 10 minutes, so skip here now if you don't want to watch it, but I hope you do. Enjoy. Hey, I want to do a little gin chat with you. It is later on the same day. Evening is starting to set in, and it is time to have a pre-dinner cocktail. So I'm going to enjoy some of this. This is Nikka Coffey Gin. If it sounds familiar to you, you may remember I talked about Nikka Coffey as a whiskey. So they are actually known as the founder of the distillery. I need to see his name in order to say it properly. Masataka Taketsuru is the founder of Nikka, and he's also often named as the father of Japanese whiskey. And I talked a little bit about his history in a previous episode, the history of his becoming the father of Japanese whiskey. He went to the University of Scotland, or University of Glasgow in Scotland, in the early 1900s, and learned the whiskey trade from the Scottish people, and married a Scottish woman, and then went back to Japan to work with another man to establish whiskey making in Japan. And they're now one of the longest running distilleries for whiskey. In 2017, they decided to add both gin and vodka. The vodka looks very similar to this. I love the labels, this like clean black print on color background label. The vodka is a blue label with the same black, and it'll say vodka instead of gin. So right now they just make one gin, I believe. I did not find any evidence of others. There might be some that you could get if you were to go to the distilleries. They have 2 distilleries, this company. One is in Yochi, which is the northernmost island or region of Japan, and then another one is in sort of the midsection, just one of the areas just north of Tokyo. Let's see if I can tell you that name. I don't have it handy, so I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, Miyagikayo. Miyagikayo. I'm probably saying that wrong. If you speak Japanese, you probably know better. So that the original one was in Yochi, and that was established in 1924. The second one was established in 1969. So that's kind of their story. Masataka, he was the son of sake makers, so he was not new to distilling and making alcohol. One of the things that I just learned this time that I don't remember learning this before, but it's called Coffey. It has this word Coffey in it because that's a particular still that was developed by an Irish man named, probably going to mess this up too, I don't know. Ian, maybe? It might be Ian. Might be Ian. It's a still that's shaped like a column, and the sort of like the bottle is shaped, and that shape allows the distilling process to maintain constant pressure, and it just produces a higher concentration of alcohol in the distillation process. So anyway, this is a gin from it began in 2017, so it hasn't been around about 5 years. But it's already won awards and things, and I was super interested in it because it is known for having botanicals that are typical in Japanese cuisine, like yuzu, which is a citrus, Japanese citrus, sansho peppers, kabuso, amanatsu. Sorry about all the mispronunciation, but anyway, you get it. Besides having regular old juniper and coriander and some of the other flavors that we're used to, so I thought this would be a really cool and interesting gin to try. It is a little bit pricey as a gin goes. I purchased this for, I think it was around $42. I've seen it listed for as low as $30. If you find it for $30, it's a bargain, but usually it's around $40, $45 even. It's a little bit more expensive than our traditional gins that you can get, like say Plymouth Gin, which is sort of my go-to London dry. That one is about $30 here, $30 US. So yeah, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and taste it with you so I can see how this all works together. So okay, I smell the juniper. I smell citrus too. It's definitely the yuzu. There's it seems limey, but I don't know if I'm being influenced by the green label. I also want to say there's pear in there, but I might be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. I have both what they say it should taste like and what a professional taster says it should taste like. So, so it's like, oh wow, heavy citrus and a little burn in the back, which I wonder if is the pepper. It's funny, I had those peppers last night on my dinner. I had a like a tofu rice bowl, and those were sort of a garnish on the side. I charred them. They're so good. But yeah, a lot of citrus up front. It's yuzu, lime. There's something in the middle I can't quite put my finger on. Juniper is there, but it's more of a blended juniper. It's not like a juniper forward flavor, which you often get with gins, especially English gins. Yeah, wow, so good, so good. Okay, let me see if I can see what the what they say about it. Okay, they say they achieve the perfect balance between 11 selected botanicals. So I think I've mentioned this before when I've done gin chats. You usually never have the exact recipe. It's very closely guarded. Japanese citruses, yuzu, kabuso, amanatsu, juniper berries, angelica, coriander, lemon, and orange peel. There's also a touch of apple, which I had thought maybe it was pear, but apple. Apple and pear are similar, can be similar, especially Japanese apple. And then green pepper at the end, green sansho pepper at the very end. Okay, let's see what a professional taste says about it. Citrus forward with hints of Meyer, lemon, and methanol. On the flavor, unprecedented palate with a wonderful sourness in the background and an explosion of lemon zest and orange. The finish is bitter like IPA-like. There's a sweetness to it too, which I don't know. Oh, I found the flavor wheel. So yeah, the lemon forward, so no lime. Lemon forward, slightly sweet, zesty, caramel, apple, and orange at the end. And then also this pepper in the background. So yeah, it's really tasty. Very different, like more sweet than I expected. Especially, I guess, with the pepper. I thought that there would be a little bit more of a burn, I guess. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed this little gin chat. I can't wait to put this in. I'm going to do my usual with this. I forgot to tell you too. This is my little tasting glass, and it's about an ounce, and then I just put a few drops of water just to open up the gin. I have gin usually mixed plain with soda. Occasionally I'll add a dash of a citrus bitter like orange or grapefruit or lemon. And yeah, I'm not going to add anything to this, so this is really good. Or I could do like a squeeze of lime or lemon. It's so good though. It's really smooth, very smooth. I hope you get a chance to try it, or maybe a gin or whiskey of your choice, and I will see you next time. All right, welcome back. So what I am wearing, I'm wearing old stuff in terms of like you've seen it before on this channel if you've been here a while. I am wearing the Saucy Suri Bomber Jacket. It has a zipper. It's my own design. I designed it in early 2019. Yeah, it was around this time of year in 2019. And it's knit out of the DK weight melted baby suri from Ching Fiber in the colorway Oyster. And you just use a fingering weight yarn of your choice for the cuffs, collar, and there's a waistband. I'll put a picture on screen from the pattern if you're interested. It is super cozy, and I have plans to make another one or two. Yeah, I even have the yarn. That's a whole nother story though about yarn stash I have for projects that I haven't knit on, and they're old. Yeah, gosh, it's a knitter's problem, right? This is knitter's life. This is the knitter's life. And underneath I'm wearing a Knitting is Metal Death Tarot knitter. I don't think these t-shirts are made anymore. The woman who owned Knitting is Metal sold the business, and I don't know what the new owner's doing in terms of t-shirts, but there was a few of these tarot card t-shirts about 4 or 5 years ago, and yeah, this one I think was her most popular. It's so freaking cool. Look at that. Look at that. It's really cool. I love it. And I've worn it a lot before. So yeah, I don't have any new sweaters to show. My most closest, I guess, to being done is this one here that Martha's wearing. But before I talk about whips, I just want to talk about one finished object I have. I was nearly done with this in episode 4, but I did complete it. It is the Sleepy Polar Bear by Susan B. Anderson. And if I can, I did take some footage of... I have a couple still pictures you probably have already seen, but I did take some footage of when I handed it off to my granddaughter, and it was so adorable. And she was very hard to film, though, so I hope that what I've put in here captures enough of... You can see how big this freaking thing is compared to her. It will be a body pillow for her when she gets a little older, because it's not really appropriate for her to have it as a pillow now. But yeah, I had a really, really lovely trip visiting them in Texas last week, and yeah, it was really fun. And she's just so full of energy and magic. It's just so nice to see. So nice to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see what she does next. It just, yeah, it's the joy of being a grandparent. All right. So because I traveled and I had some stress while traveling, I ended up feeling sick when I got home. So I wasn't really as productive with knitting and stuff as I had thought I would be. And also, I didn't think I could take, and I talked about this in episode 4, I didn't think I could take things that were in progress. Like, I didn't take this with me because at the time I had made it up to the armhole. Okay, let me talk about this, and then you'll understand why I didn't take it. I needed easy knits to hang out with a 16, 17-month-old child and socialize with her and her parents. So I took easy knitting on the plane, and I'll show you what is going on. Those are both works in progress. So first works in progress is the Perennial sweater from the book Worsted by Aimee from Lobby and Aimee. The pattern, so it's a collection of patterns that are centered around Aimee's Corrie worsted. It's this yarn here. Where is it? Do I have it? I have it. Hang on. I'm not really I'm not doing an excellent job here, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so here it is. Corrie worsted. This is a fairly new yarn from Lobby and Aimee. I want to say it came out in the early fall. And this is the colorway Kitsune. It's a really beautiful, like brick red, orangey red, 100% Corrie. And yeah, it's really, really beautiful yarn. I love it. No complaints about the yarn. Oh, it's a Falkland Corriedale. 75% Falkland Corriedale, 25% Gotland. So if you're not aware, Gotland is a gray wool naturally. I don't think silver maybe it would be the lightest, like a pale gray, but there's gray in it. So when Aimee or whoever dyes Gotland, the colors tend to be a little more muted and a little bit more soft, I guess. It's hard to get brights in a blend like that. I think she also has some 100% Falkland Corrie too, because I think I've seen colors that are... I'm not sure. You can check it out if you're interested, rather than me trying to tackle that right now. All right, yeah. So the Perennial, I had a lot of problems with this pattern actually. I don't want to be too... I'm going to try to just give you the facts and not editorialize them too much. So the cabling is fine. There's some errata. So if you want to make any pattern out of the book worsted, go to La Bien-Aimé's website and look for the worsted errata page, and make sure that the pattern that you're choosing to make is fine. So because I've knit, this is the second pattern that I've knit from the book, and I don't know. I just think in general, because it's a book. It's just not as nimble as like if a person publishes a pattern on Ravelry or elsewhere on their website, they can easily send out updates to you telling you, oh, hey, we found some errors and now the pattern's updated. So it's pretty simple. But in this case, like to be looking at the pattern in a book and having to go through and mark it up with all the errors, and then having to use the book to knit the thing, because there's no electronic that I'm aware of anyway. Maybe there is now, but there's no electronic version of the pattern. So in order to take this with me to Texas on the plane, I would have had to bring the book or taking pictures and then trying to read like on a tiny screen. It just seemed like a nightmare. Plus cabling, I don't know, I found all of that very stressful. Not the cabling itself, but like having to have a book open, having to have space for a book, having to have space for my knitting, and having to, constantly cross-check, like where am I on the pattern, where versus the chart, and then reading the instructions, flipping pages between written instructions, and then going back to the chart. It's just very complicated and not an enjoyable experience for me. I'm super happy that the cables are behind me. I did make some modifications on it. I knit the entire body in the round, so you can see there's no seaming here. The pattern is written in pieces, bottom up in pieces. Also something I do not enjoy because I'm so accustomed to knitting top down that I'm used to seeing, a certain size, a certain width, and all of that, and it's harder to flip that and work in the opposite direction. So yeah, I knit in the round up to the armhole here, and then up to right here, and then I worked back and forth flat. I know some people have problems with their gauge, their tension changing when they do that. I don't have that problem. Knit in the round, knit back and forth, my gauge is the same. I'm an English style knitter, and I think that has something to do with it. I'm an English style knitter with no apologies because I have no intention of learning continental. I can knit it, but I'm not great at it. And whatever, man. English style works for me. Yeah, so I think knitting English style is completely fine. I actually have learned quite a lot about the difference between continental and English. Generally speaking, continental knitters are looser knitters, and their purl tension, they have a lot of trouble with purl tension. And that's why you get or hear the complaints about knitting back and forth. Because knitting back and forth and doing a stockinette stitch means that you will be purling continental style if you're a continental knitter. Where purling English is pretty, no big deal. I don't find it any big deal though. And I know people that are very, very experienced continental knitters don't have any problems purling either. So there's that. Yeah, so anyway, I don't have any trouble with the difference between the tension. I think you can see pretty well that it's very smooth. Yeah, so I knit flat up to the shoulder shaping. I shoulder shaped one shoulder, and then I went to the other and did the other, and then I came around to the front to knit up the front. I followed the pattern pretty much the way it was written for these sections. I'm a little taken aback by how low the neck drop is, but I guess I'm going to compensate with a big band. I'm not sure. I think it's supposed to be an inch, which would only bring it to here. And the neckline is here, so it means like this line is right here on me. So it means like that scoop is like pretty low. It's like a scoop t-shirt right now. And even putting a band in there isn't going to fill it up too much. So I'm a little unsure of that. I wish I kept going a little bit more to bring that neck drop up. I mean, so these are some of the issues that you don't really know until, because I'm knitting in the reverse direction, that I'm not really cognizant of. If I were doing a lot of bottom up, I think I would probably be a little more cognizant of those issues. But yeah, it'll be fine. I'll just make a big trim. I'll probably end up making a 2-inch trim because it would easily fit. And then my neck, it'll be like there, so it'll be like here, which won't be so bad. What else can I tell you about it? Oh, I didn't do the short rows in the front, which would mean that the trim would have lifted. I just did it straight around, front to back. There is a scoop here though, because the pattern is written for increases along the, decreases. You're slowly decreasing. So there's more stitches here on the bottom than there is at the bust line. So it created this shape. I blocked this too, by the way. Can you see the shape well? Oops. Yeah. See that? That's from increasing along the sides, or decreasing. So that's from having a wider bottom compared to there. And weirdly, so it does kind of raise up in the back too. If that's not your thing, like what you could do, actually there's no fix. If there weren't cables, what you could do is put in short rows, but because there's cables, doing short rows really wouldn't work with this. Yeah, so love it or leave it. I'm working on the sleeves now. Where is it? Here it is. I've got one sleeve on the needles. I don't mind doing sleeves generally. And these are fine. These are very easy. There's no detailed anything on it. I just find the first sleeve a little slower going because I'm trying to figure out exactly, I'm following the pattern in terms of where to put the increases. So each of these are an increase. And I'm supposed to have 12 of them, I think. And they seem too close together to me. But I don't know. I might do my own thing with increases. Maybe spread these out a bit as I get higher up. So knitting this in the round, up to the armhole, and then I'll be knitting it flat, and then I'll be piecing that armhole into this, or that sleeve cap into the armhole. Not looking forward to that. I did actually see, so I checked this morning because I was curious. I cast this on pretty early, like there were maybe 20 samples or other people that have knitted it. Now there's about 100. And a couple people have figured out how to knit the sleeve going down. I wished from like by picking up stitches and then going downward. I wished I'd done that because, I guess it's not too late, but at this point I'll just power through. I am really happy with the size. I forgot to say too, I could not get gauge. I don't even understand how Norah got the gauge she got. I went down a needle size and I was still knitting very big. And yeah, I'm an English knitter, so you'd have to be like really pulling that yarn tight to get such a tight gauge. It's interesting too, the entire book is written for the same yarn. Everybody used the same yarn and the gauges are quite different. I found that weird. My gauge matched the other pattern I made from that book was by Maxim Cyr, and my gauge matched his. I don't know. So I went down one needle size and then went down 2 sizes to get this size. So this is the equivalent of a size 3. Yeah. So this is, oh my goodness, this like whole experience has not been fun. I'm just like, ah! Every time I have to work on it, I know when I get to that armhole part and having to piece it in, that's really, really going to drive me crazy. One of the things that happens when you knit back and forth and you do the arm sleeve cap flat is that your decreases are off because you can't decrease going across this way because you have a few stitches here. Unless you knit 2 together, you could do, I don't know, it's a mess. Like, so you end up with like uneven armholes, and then the other side is this way. I not a fan. Sorry, okay, I'm gonna stop complaining. I'm sure it'll be beautiful by the time I'm done. The finished objects that other people have are really, really pretty. I've seen that a few people have not done the raised up front hem. I think that's a style choice. It looks fine if you style it a certain way, but I think I'm gonna like to wear it this way, just like out over jeans or maybe tucking the front in, whatever. Yeah, I also made it slightly longer, and I think, so I ended up like, I have the same number of cable repeats, but because my gauge was bigger, I just ended up with a little bit longer body, which I'm very happy about. So, okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that. I really want to get it done because I was hoping to wear it before it got too warm, and at this point, I don't know if that's gonna happen. It might be too warm. I guess I could wear it at night. I'm just seeing like there's out in my yard, there's a hawk swooping around, I guess looking for dinner. All right, so that's that pattern. So I guess you can understand maybe why I didn't want to take it with me, because of all the tension I was feeling over it. My next oldest whip, which is actually a half finished object, is the DRK Everyday Socks, knit out of some of my hand spun. Yeah, so I'm like about halfway done with the second sock. This is so I cast on because, here's the second one. I cast on for a knit along that Andrea is running still. It's running through the end of March, and hopefully I'll make it. I don't know if I will. But yeah, this was some of my plain knitting. I finished the sock actually on my flight heading out to Texas, and cast on the second sock on my way back. And yeah, they're great. This has been sort of a little travel knitting project for me. The hand spun, if you're interested, is by the fiber is, I spun it, but the fiber is from Green Goat Ranch in the colorway Fairy Godmother. It has a little bit of a sparkle, and I really love the way it kind of striped a bit. So there's like a blue section, a pink section, a marled section, and then the second sock. Oh, there's also like orange in there, like splashes of orange. Do you see it? See it? Yeah, and the second sock is turning out so far to be striped in a little bit shorter sections. Oops. See? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is coming along. I had this idea at the beginning of the year that I would make 1 pair of socks and 1 sweater a month, and I'm way behind. So far, I only have 1 sweater done, and it is almost the end of March. 1 sweater for this year, and it's almost the end of March, but I have 3 sweaters on the needles. So if I finish all those by the end of April, I'm on track. Socks-wise, I think this is only my 2nd pair of socks. So I'm way behind on socks. All right. Here is another project. Actually, I also thought I was going to film so many clips because I hadn't been talking to you for a month, and I just thought I was going to have so much filmed and I would intersperse all this film in between, but having like a week of being away and hanging out with my granddaughter and then another week of being sick and not feeling well, I really didn't film very much. I did, however, for this project, The Vertices Unite Baby Blanket by Stephen West, I did film a little clip as I was working on it before I went away. And so I'm going to have you watch that, and then I'll have you come back and update you. I wanted to just talk with you a little bit about this project. This is the Vertices Unite Baby Blanket by Stephen West. This is such a satisfying knit. I just love it so much. This is the third one I think I've made. I've also made the Vertices Unite shawl. I made at least one of those. Yeah, so I wanted to just tell you why it's so satisfying. So first off, you use 5 random skeins of DK weight yarn, and yeah, so if you've got a bunch of like single skeins of DK weight and you don't know what to do with them, this is a really great project. I also think it could be really fun. Like I've used 5 different colors here, which I'll go over at another time. But I also think it would be really fun if you didn't use 5 colors. If you use less than 5, it could be pretty interesting. But the way that Stephen figured out how to combine the colors is really, really amazing. It's just so brilliant, and I really love it. Like I love how when you combine 2 colors, you end up with a third color here too, and then over here there is like a gray tone in here, like a gray yarn that you'll see a big section of over here on this side. But in terms of processed knitting, this is so satisfying on so many levels because one, you're using up your random single skeins of DK weight yarn, or fingering weight held double would also work. That's what is happening in a couple of these. But also it's garter. So you're just knitting every row and you're just doing, occasionally you're doing increases or decreases. So to get these shapes. And the thing that really I think makes it for me is that you're working in modules. So like this is one section, this is another section, this is another section. And that just takes this massive project, it's not really massive, but a 5 skein project, and make it more manageable. So it just feels more like, you know, you feel more satisfied because you feel like you're making progress. Like, oh, that's a section done. Oh, that's another section done. Oh, that's another section done. It's so, so cool. I love it so much. I forgot how much I really, really like it. I strongly recommend this. I have gifted a couple of these already. This is also a gift for someone. And everyone that I've gifted them to just loves it. It's a weird shape, you know. It's not a square or rectangle, but babies aren't square or rectangular either. Everyone that I've given it to or shown these blankets to just really, really love them. Yeah, I can't say it. There's nothing I can say bad about it. It's great. It would also make a really awesome stroller blanket. It's super unique, beautiful, fun knit, fun way to use up skeins and play with color combos. It's a good project for that. And there's always babies being born, so there's always someone who needs something like this. So yeah. All right, so hopefully I'm not going to repeat anything. I should have watched that clip before I filmed this, so there might be some edits as I cut out what I'm saying. So yeah, anyway, I have made quite a lot of progress on this project. So pretty. I am working on section 7 right now, which is a rectangle that fits right here. So Here's the other end of the needle. It will connect all the way up on this edge here. And then there's one more section, section 8, which will be knit across this section here, and it will combine the Suri, this pink, with this bright purpley pink. So just to go through the yarns very quickly, it is a, whoops, wrong bag. It's a 5-color shawl or blanket. This, and as I believe I said this in the clip, this is such a great project to use up your single skein. If you have 5 single skeins of DK weight, even worsted, you could probably get away with, 200 yards or so of each one. It's a really great project for that. So the colors I'm using, this is Ba yarns. They're, I think, a West Coast. They're definitely West Coast. I think California. DK in the colorway California Poppy. This is old, so I bought this, or I didn't buy this actually. I won this in 2016. This is probably one of my oldest skeins of yarn. And then the rainbow that I'm using right now, this is from Sweet Nestings. This was a single ply that I plied on my spinning wheel into a 2-ply DK weight. I did the same with this. This is Sorry Not Sorry from Hedgehog Fibers. Was a single ply. I made it a double ply. And then the 4th color that I did that with is this one right here. This is called Sister from Stranded Dye Works. Single ply made into a DK weight. And then the last is the Melted Baby Suri from Ching Fiber in the colorway Aurora. This is actually the color that I used for the Saucy Suri Bomber Jacket for the original. I don't have that one anymore. I gifted it to a very dear friend. But yeah, anyway, I love this project so much. I have another 5 skeins of DK weight set aside for another blanket that I'm planning. I think if I can get it done, will go to my granddaughter, because when I did make her one of these Vertices Unite baby blankets before, and we didn't know her gender at that time. So I made it neutral, like very good for boys or girls and for any gender. And now, I mean, this sounds sort of silly. Like, I mean, I do really love gender neutral, and maybe you believe that all colors are gender neutral. But okay, the color combination that I have put aside is like purples and greens, like kind of this sort of mermaidish thing. So at least that's the way I was thinking about it. I know merman could be a thing too, but I just thought it would be pretty for her. We'll see how her new room looks when they move. They're moving to Maine. I think I've mentioned this. They'll be moving to Portland, Maine in May. So that'll be closer. At least I can drive there. All right. Carrying on. Ooh, I think, yes, new cast-ons. So I have 2 very exciting new cast-ons. Oh, by the way, I didn't take the baby blanket with me either on my trip for the obvious reasons. It's a very big project. And this next one also did not come with me because it is also a very big project. Cast on the Don't Look Up sweater, which I had been since the beginning of the year or so, working on hand spinning the yarn for this project. So I have about 10 more rows or so to go for the yoke, and then I'll be splitting for the sleeves. It's been interesting, but I think, so I've been using the color chart that was developed by Knitted by NY or Knitted by Nye. I'll put her in the show notes and on screen. She's on Ravelry and also on Instagram. If you go to the hashtag Don't Look Up sweater, you will find other people who have, I think somebody else published a pattern for free. Where Knitted by NY, she just made the chart and then didn't really give you any other instruction, though you could look at her project page, I suppose. So I decided to use a color work pattern that I, in terms of how many stitches to cast on and all of that. So I used that based on, see, this part's really tight. Based on a pattern that I already made and liked the fit of. So that's how I figured it out. And like I just said, this part right here, this 1x1 color work is pretty tight, but I think overall it'll be okay. What I really need to do is get this on a longer needle and pop it onto Martha here so I could take a look at how it's going to fit. But also understanding that in the blocking, some of this will sort of ease and relax and all of that. But those issues aside, isn't it great? Look at it. I just love it. Yeah. So, to tell you about the yarn, the pink in there is from fiber spun from, I did all 3 plies. So this is fiber spun from Pancake and Lulu in the colorway Squid Game. Really, really fun color. I don't think I may get into, there's one more section after I'm done with the pink section here. There's one more section where it's like you end up making like little crosses. So I think those will end up probably being green. And then after that, there's the same section on the sleeve. So I don't think I'll use the whole skein. But I don't mind if it turns green. I mean, I love the way the color gradiated on the top. The gray is by Into the World in the colorway Storm, Into the Storm, and it's kind of a blue gray, a tealy blue gray on Corrie. Oh, this is Merino. And then the brown, the base color, is 100% Pullworth. And this has been my spinning project for pretty much the last couple months. I'm still on the first skein though. I have 2 others completed and I have been planning to spin 3 others. I have that spinning partially done. I don't know if I'm going to need that much, but nevertheless, I'm going to finish it because this would make like an excellent baby sweater or hats or whatever. There's other things I can use this for. All the yarn is DK weight. It's all 3 ply. This one is actually the finest. I may have even just pulled, this is another skein that's been done. So you can see how much I've used. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. But then again, I mean, I'm knitting color work, so there's not a lot of this. When I get past the color work and I'm just knitting in the body, I may crank through these. I only spun so far about 700 yards, so I mean have completed in skein form. My plan was to spin another about 500 and I'm about halfway through that spinning right now. I really want to get it done though because I have some other exciting spin projects that I'm going to talk to you about in a few minutes. So yeah, this is my Don't Look Up sweater. I really, really love it. I think it looks so good. Yay! I don't think I'm going to get this done in time to wear it in this spring's cool weather, but you never know. It's really cool. Never know. I'm in this like sloggy knitting on like 350 stitches in the round. It's very sloggy right now, but like I said, about 10 more rows and that part will be behind me. I have one more new cast on to share with you and then a few little stash acquisitions and then a couple other little things and that's it. This project came along with me on my trip and I actually worked quite a lot on it on my flights out. Sadly, I talked about it being stressful, the flight. My flight was first delayed and then canceled and I had to spend the night in Chicago and it really sucked because it was like 1 a.m. by the time I got to my hotel and then I had to be up again at like 7 to make it on the next flight to Texas. It was really, really, really uncomfortable and expensive and not fun. But I got a lot of knitting done. So So this is the Daily pullover by Paula Pereira. It is, to my knowledge, the first V-neck I've ever made in hand knit. I love V-necks. I wear V-necks all the time in blouses and in t-shirts. I just have never knit one, so I'm sort of curious to see how this comes out. This seems to me to be quite a deep V. It's all the way down here. But you do a very big band, and there's quite a deep decrease that goes along here. So I think it's okay. I've seen other people's patterns. It looks pretty good. But you can see I've knit quite a lot. I've got past the sleeve split, and I've got my stitches on waist yarn over there. There's a provisional cast on for the neck. And you come back and pick those stitches up to make the band. But yeah, this is very mindless, really relaxing, mindless knitting. It's been great for when I'm sitting in meetings or just, waiting for something to happen or watching something that I need to concentrate on. It's been really, really great. I do really like it. And I am knitting it out of the yarn that was recommended, which is this one. It is Linen Quill by Pearl Soho in the colorway, I think it's Kettle Black. I'm not sure. I'll put it on screen if I'm wrong. But yeah, so Linen Quill, maybe you're familiar because you watch Caddy Jacks, and they have been waxing poetic, or Stress Knits. They have been waxing poetic about this yarn for a long time, for all last year. This is my first time knitting with it. I found it... Are you ready? Different than I expected after hearing them talk about it, but though a lot of what they were expressing was just sort of this emotional reaction to it, not really describing it. I expected this to have a drier hand because of the linen. So linen has sort of a dry, crisp hand. I really, really love linen. I love linen sheets. I wear linen in the summer. It's the coolest fiber to me. I find it cooler than cotton and definitely cooler than silk. So I really expected this yarn to have, it's a Highland wool, alpaca, and linen blend. And I thought the linen was really going to bring this dry crispness to it. So I deliberately waited till this time of year to cast it on, thinking that it would be a sweater I'd be able to wear into the springtime. But what I didn't anticipate was that the alpaca was going to counter that dry, crisp hand that happens from linen and make this very soft, squishy, fuzzy hand. So yeah, you really it feels more like an alpaca wool blend than like the linen, other than probably the linen is what's making those flecks of white in the black. That's the linen's adding texture, not hand or drape to it. So it is what it is. I got gauge. I'm knitting away on, I think, the 3rd or 4th size. I don't really remember which one exactly, but yeah, I'm just in that knitting around phase, which is, I'm here for it. I'm so into it. You can see this is how much I got done in a meeting that I had this week, from there to there. Very happy. And also, now that we're moving into stash acquisitions, I can share with you this new project bag that I got from Aimee of the Fat Squirrel Fiber. I purchased. To be clear, I purchased. Isn't it adorable? Oh my goodness. And look at that purpley pink. I just love this. There's a mama otter, a baby otter, a crab, and a sea anemone. It's so cool. I love it so much. And I love the colors too. Yeah. So I had to immediately use it. So that's where my project is living. So that is one of my stash acquisitions. I'm not going to do spinning because all I've done so far is been working on these, and it's kind of the same old, and maybe next time I'll have all that project done and something new to show you for spinning. This is probably the end of stash that I'm getting this year. I'm trying to have a very low buy year. So I did I had a couple pre-orders that came in, and this however is not a pre-order. This was I can't resist. I must have it. So I got 4 skeins of chromatic yarns, DK weight. These are colors that are based on D&D lore, Dungeons and Dragons lore, which my sons all play Dungeons and Dragons. They love it. And I just couldn't resist. These are destined to become socks or hats for all of them, and their significant others and child. So to go through, Chromatic Yarns did a pre-order of 6 different colors. I bought 4 of them, and yeah, I can't wait to start working on these. So these will be some of the socks that I'm planning to make this year, and just gift them. Luckily, all of them, their birthdays are at the end of the year. So like July, October, November, December, and then January. So yeah, so I have lots of time to work on these. So this one is poison resistance, this purpley green. This is spell resistance, this beautiful purpley pink with green speckles. This is cold resistance. This is like a lighter version of that. And then I have a rainbow one called chaos resistance. The other 2 I didn't get were like frost resistance, and I don't remember what the other one was, but they were very similar. I really just wanted 4 colors. So yeah. So these will be socks. You'll be seeing these later on in the year, maybe late next episode if I finish those socks. And I had shared with you last time a 12-day fiber countdown calendar that I had gotten from Dandelion and Daisy. So I'm going to show you the rest of that right now and just like chat with you a little bit about what I'm planning to do with it. Yeah, so I bagged it up. All done. Based on Outlander. Did I talk about that? I don't know if I probably did not talk about that in the clip, but let me pull out the big braid. So this is from Dandelion and Daisy's on an Outlander themed countdown calendar that was meant to be counted down in the 12 days of Christmas, beginning Christmas Day forward. But mine came late. It came in that week of, and by then I was really kind of countdowned out because I had bought a few countdown calendars that I was doing throughout December, and so I decided to just hold on to it and do it a countdown to my birthday. So this one I opened on my birthday. The colorway is called Dinner Party. It's a 4-ounce braid. So what I ended up with is 12 1-ounce braids, and it's a Polworth silk, and then 1 4-ounce braid. So I can make a total of 4 skeins of 4-ounce skeins. So I think it's 100%, no, it's not 100%, it's 85-15? Yeah, 85% Polworth and 15% Tulsa silk. And I think what I'm going to do is combine these in a way, so they do kind of create a gradient, which, I don't know, I'm not into a gradient that is like these colors. So I think what I'm going to do is combine them in a way where I think I'm going to do a 2-ply, but I may end up making a 3-ply, but I was thinking like I could combine them like in like this, so to speak. So I'm like kind of mixing them together, and each skein will be unique and interesting. So that is going to be my next spin project. All right, last fiber, totally indulgent. I actually ordered this. This is from Akara Yarns, and this is 100% Pullworth, 4-ounce skeins. And I ordered these because I was thinking they might work for my Don't Look Up sweater, but I had already worked it out by the time they'd gotten here. So I thought this might be a good substitute for the gray and have it be like white and pink. This one or this one. So this one has a little bit of blue, which would have ended up being like a light blue. It's really pretty with those pinks. I want to say it's called Cafe. Yeah, it's like it has something to do with coffee. Hey, a couple quick things I forgot. That I don't know where I'm going to stick this footage, but I got these really cool labels that I wanted to share with you. May invite the scorn of teens. So these are for, sometimes I like to use these so that when I pull a sweater out, I don't have to fiddle for where the back is. This one says, may contain traces of nuts. And the company is called Inside Voices Sewing Labels. I found them on Etsy. Yeah. They come from overseas, like from the US. They're not made in the US, they're made elsewhere, but they came very fast. Like I got them in a day or two, or sorry, not a day or two, a week or two. They sell out really fast too, so I would recommend I'll see where I can. She doesn't have anything on here. I believe I saw her on Instagram. So yeah, so I would recommend following her because her labels sell out very quickly. There was another one I really, really wanted. I don't even remember what it said at this moment, but it was sold out before I even got there, and I thought I saw the notice pretty quickly. The other thing that I wanted to just chat with you about real quick is Advents, because it is Advent purchasing season, very early beginning Advent purchasing season, and I'm curious what you think you're going to do for Advent. I know what I want, so I actually already purchased a 12-day fiber Advent calendar from Akara Yarns. That was the fiber that I showed you, I think, already, that I recently purchased. And I had purchased a 12-day fiber Advent from her this year, for 2021. So for 2022, I've already purchased a 12-day 100% Pullworth. What I really want in fiber was what I got from Green Goat Ranch this past year, which was a colors that go together that I can spin together to make yarn for a project, for a sizable project, instead of having a bunch of dribs and drabs that just end up being mini skeins or fiber that I'm blending in with other things. I would prefer it to be fiber that I can put together into a project, and also small. I don't want 24-day. I want 12 days or less. So because that's plenty for a project. That's actually 12 days if it's 1 ounce, like the Advent or a countdown that I showed you from the Outlander themed one that I got last year. Yeah, that's more than enough for a project, so that's perfect. In terms of mini skeins, what I'm really interested in finding are non-superwash makers. So like mini, and last year I found one non-superwash minis, and I hesitated to purchase it, and then I wasn't able to get it. It was from Europe, like from a European maker, and I kind of I try not to buy from makers that are too far away, geographically speaking, from me. US is fine, Canada's fine, but overseas I try not to buy from Ireland. Actually, the shipping's really great, and it's good, well priced, and it's also fast, because I don't want to worry about, will the thing get to me on time, and I also don't want to pay an exorbitant amount of shipping fees for a product that I could probably get here. So yeah, so North American maker, preferably, although I'd be open to makers from elsewhere, not Australia or New Zealand, but from Europe would be okay, or Asia would be okay too. Non-superwash, small, like 12 skein mini skeins, if it's going to be mini skeins. So that's what I'm interested in. Also, the idea that they will work together in a project. So a thematic way that the colors work together would be really good. Although, you know, I don't know. I got some pretty unique advents for 2021 and I loved all of them. I don't have any regrets, but I also don't want to go overboard this year. I'm trying to really have a low buy year, just generally speaking, but especially for yarn and fiber because I have so much. I've gotten to the point, I didn't talk about this yet, but I've gotten to the point where I really don't have storage anymore. I need to create new storage if I'm going to continue collecting. So I prefer to just not collect anymore and just work the stash down and then get it to a comfortable place where I can add to it if I want. So yeah, it's a little over the top. I might need to reorganize too. That might help. But anyway, yeah. So tell me, what are you thinking for Advents? Do you do Advents or countdowns for winter? I can't believe it's time to think about it already. But I was remembering that last year, by April, I had already nailed down exactly, you know, a couple of the projects or a couple of the advent calendars I was planning to buy. I may buy, if Grenouille Co. does a 12 skein thematic countdown, I might go with hers again. I loved her colors. They're just like right up my alley in terms of colors that I like to wear. So I don't know. But, so that would be like a superwash version, but I would really prefer like a non-superwash if anyone knows of any. Or if you hear about fiber. Fiber is also hard to find. So if you hear about a 12-day or less fiber, maybe Green Goat will do hers again or something similar or some other theme. Yeah, I love her. She's just a wonderful person. Anyway, see you. So yeah, I am so excited about some of the designs in here, and I'm just wondering like if you all are excited about some of the designs in here too, and which ones. I really love this one. There's a lot of mohair in here, which I think is interesting. So I love this one. And I really love, this is the one that I think I'm going to end up making. I love this one. I actually love both of them. So it's the same or similar pattern, just different sleeve lengths and different lengths here. But I love the scrappiness of this dress. And I have some ideas about how to knit with that, how to make that. So I probably am gonna make a blouse first, a shorter one first, and then see how it goes, and then maybe turn it into the dress. I'm not sure, but yeah, there's just like the patterns in here are so beautiful. I love this other sweater too, although I don't have any plans to cast it on anytime soon. There's just a lot of really gorgeous patterns. I just love the aesthetic of this entire issue. It's really cool. There's this really interesting, beautiful thing. So cool. Tells you how to make it. Yeah. All right. That is all that I have of my knitting content. Hooray! All right. The last thing that I usually talk about is allyship. And today I want to talk about how to apologize. And because apologies are important. And you know what? When it comes to allyship, we're all going to make mistakes. So it's important to understand how to apologize. And the steps and the things that I'm going to share with you about how to apologize apply to any apology, not just apologizing to folks who have had issues with something that you said or did. Because that's been something that has come up, I think, in the knit world, in the knitting community, that apologies are sometimes called non-apologies, and then other people take offense to that, and they think, oh, nothing I say is good enough. But there's actually a way to apologize well, to apologize in a way that it's genuine and appropriate, and to say some of the things that you should say. So first couple things is that an effective apology communicates genuine empathy, remorse, and regret, and a promise to not do the thing again, promise to learn. I shouldn't say to not do it again. A promise to learn from your mistakes. One of the problems with the way people often apologize is that it goes back to this idea of intent and impact. So, and this is like a communication thing. It's been talked about in the knitting community, but it actually has roots in communication. I don't even know who theorized it originally or who coined the phrase intent versus impact, but it was coined several years ago, maybe a couple decades ago even. But it's a communication thing where you intend to compliment someone, but they maybe don't take it as a compliment. They instead take it as an insult. It's that idea of oh my gosh, there's so many sayings about impact versus intent too. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you get the idea, right? One of the things that a lot of us do when we apologize is we focus on our intent instead of focusing on our impact. So intent is what you intended. So you intended this compliment to be a compliment, not an insult, but the impact was that it was taken as an insult. I'm just using this sort of vague example just to illustrate how to do this. And when we're trying to apologize, we'll say, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean that. That doesn't matter in an apology. That doesn't matter to the person that you hurt. What matters to the person that you hurt was that they hurt. You hurt them. So instead, you want to say something like, you want to focus on the impact. So you want to say, I'm sorry I hurt you with that comment. It was, whatever. It was a slip. It was, I didn't understand, but I see it now. Yeah, so you don't want to say, but I didn't mean it, and explain your piece. That's not apologizing. That is a non-apology. I'm sorry, but I didn't mean it, and explaining why you didn't mean it. No, just don't do that. Instead, focus on what happened to the person. I'm sorry that you are hurt. I'm sorry that I hurt you. I will try harder. Here are some concrete things or some, constructive things that I will do so that I don't do this again. And, come on, be authentic. You actually need to care when you're apologizing that you hurt someone. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that helps. You can practice. Feel free to practice. And if you're interested in learning more about how to craft a good apology, there's a lot of resources. I'll put some down below that I think are useful. I like to think that the sources that I share are oh my gosh, the word just went out of my head. It's been a long day. Are reliable. The sources are reliable and tested and will help. I hope that played out the way I hope my intention, my communication intention worked on your side as the receiver. I hope you received what I was trying to explain. If not, I may be back doing this again. All right, it's been so lovely. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I deeply appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm so happy that you are here and, wanting to hear about my knitting projects, and you stay for allyship and, yeah, all of that.